Hello there. My name is Kyle Peck, and I am auditioning for Adventures in Vangoland. One day, Moby was playing in the rain in front of their apartment when a lightning bolt struck him across his right hand. Finding him unconscious, his father rushed him to the hospital, and when he woke up, he was asthma-stricken. From that time, he became easily irritable. At school, he preferred to be alone, reading, and drawing. At home, his parents never really encouraged him to go out and play. This was especially true after he got into a fight with one of the boys in the neighborhood who called him Big Brows because of his thick eyebrows that curved in and connected almost in the middle of his eyes. However, his father would tell him that not all boys were bad, but to never shy away from defending himself. Twice or thrice he fought two older boys who threatened to take his football by force if he did not let them play with it. Gradually, he avoided socializing with others, and walking in his neighborhood became a rarity. His father was his best friend, his hero. He took him to the parks and movies. They played football together. He once witnessed him chasing a vicious snake and snatching it by the tail before it could disappear into a nearby hole. Then he pulled it out and grabbed it by the neck when it charged. With a group of boys following him, his father marched down Hope Street to their apartment and threw the snake into an ice chest. He sat on it and convinced his scared wife to call the animal control department. From that day, Moby believed that his father was the bravest person ever. Normally, Moby would still be asleep when his father left for work, but this morning, he was fully awake. He grinned as his father bent over him, his tie touching the blanket as he kissed him on the cheek. "Are you coming home early today, Dad?" asked Moby enthusiastically, turning his entire body to face his father. "Yes, today is Tuesday, son. Remember, I told you I would get off early today? I was thinking maybe you and I could catch a movie," said Richard, tapping Moby's shoulder. "Okay, Dad. Sounds like a plan," said Moby, smiling. "Oh, wait, Dad. I wanted to give you this before you go to work." Moby reached for his sketchbook, which had fallen on the other side of the skinny bed. He carefully ripped the page off and gave it to his father. "Tell me what you think." "Thanks, son. I'll check it out," said Richard, carefully slipping the page into his ostrich leather briefcase. "Love you," he called over his shoulder, dashing to the door and disappearing into the corridor. "Love you too," said Moby, throwing a blanket over his head. Looking through the glass wall of the 74th floor, Richard could see an airplane in the distance flying toward the Hudson River. He was used to being up in the clouds among them. He plunged into his black leather executive chair to face the magnificent view of the city. With its sprawling skyscrapers, New York was a far cry from Gaborone, the capital of Botswana, where Richard grew up. He couldn't say that he loved one more than he loved the other, but he missed home. He dreamed of taking Moby there once Victoria recovered. Now nostalgic, he pulled the paper Moby had given him out of his briefcase. In the middle of the page was a picture of a strong male lion, with a hefty mane locking his deep black eyes on a charging black mamba. The snake was flashing green spiky fangs. Below the drawing, Moby had written, "In the rise against evil, the king, a bold lion, fights the evil snake. The snake wants to rule the jungle. Now they are in a fiery fight." Although Richard was shocked by the image, an easy smile gradually formed at the corners of his mustached mouth. "That's my boy. He knows about good and evil." With the tip of his finger, he rolled a silver pen toward him to write some comments. But he decided to make a quick call to his son. "Hi, baby," Victoria answered the phone. "Hi, hon. Can I speak to Moby if he's up, please?" "Hold on for him." "Mo, your dad wants to talk to you," Victoria called. Still in pajamas, Moby rushed to the phone. "Hi, Daddy." "Hey, Mo. What prompted you to write your story?" Richard asked, tapping the page with a pen. It was quiet for about 5 seconds. "I hate evil with all my heart," the boy said. Although Richard was surprised at the words that came out of his boy's mouth, he couldn't disagree with him at all. He continued to write on the drawing. "Good job, Mo. I like the story very much. Keep writing. I think it will be a great story once it is finished. You are going to be an excellent writer. Keep it up. Love you, son. Welcome to Vangoland. Beals the snake snatched a fly from the air and then muttered to himself, "For me to rule this Vangoland, I must kill King Tauza. I really mean it. This land belongs to me." He grinned as he emerged from his secret hole across the River Vango. The River Vango divided Vangoland into two asymmetrical parts, east and west. Not too far from the river, in western Vangoland, dwelled the animals' Vango Kingdom. The animal kingdom was under the rule of King Tauza, the mighty lion. His bushy mane swept the ground when he strode by on his great paws of pride. His brown eyes twinkled like water in deep boreholes. As they would for any other revered king, the animals of the kingdom would all rise from their favorite spots to greet him with respect and humility. Angelix, the white dove, was the king's spiritual adviser. Her nest rested in the tree in the heart of the compound. Angelix had the gift of heavenly wisdom, and her main task was to deliver it to the king every morning. She was the king's daily source of knowledge and wisdom. As time went by, the king developed a special relationship with Beals the snake, straining his relationship with Angelix. He avoided her whenever he could. He would begrudgingly meet with her every morning, but the meetings were no longer fruitful. Instead, the king opted to work closely with the flamboyant, charismatic Beals, who trivialized holy wisdom. Beals argued that every animal had a bit of wisdom to share with the kingdom, and those who were more intelligent than others should be in the inner circle of the king. One day, after a meeting with his wife, the king called for Beals and told him to form a think tank of intellectuals. They would meet once a week, and Beals would present the results of their discussions to the king. The king seemed to enjoy the ideas and advice of Beals's team more than the advice he received from Angelix alone. He liked the variety of ideas, especially the fact that he was now able to choose the ones he liked. Eventually, the king would no longer meet with Angelix every morning, but once a week instead. As time went by, sadness filled Angelix's heart, for her wisdom was now replaced by Beals's worldly ideas. Consequently, she resented the new establishment and prayed for its annulment. Many changes took place as Angelix's wisdom was ignored. Storytelling and jokes replaced Angelix's evening prayer with the animals. Her once-a-week presentation, defending the Creator and his creation, languished. Her class for young animals hear and obey was no more, and eventually, Angelix found herself on the edge of citizenry, grieving